With no shock to anyone who's been in the pug scene of Mythic Plus, there is a healer shortage currently going on in Season 2 of Dragonflight. Now, the solution to everything isn't just, well, re-roll a healer then, because we do still need tanks, we still need DPS, we still need all roles being filled. There are some things that you can do as the tank to help healers want to stay in the pug scene, to actively want to queue up for dungeons. Because right now, it is a struggle bus. I have never seen it this bad. I, as a tank, have never had to wait 10 minutes to find a healer for a dungeon before. Now, while that is the most extreme case that I've had to wait, it does happen, right? And the wait times for a healer are across the board pretty crazy. But at the end of the day, a lot of us like to do the "they took our jobs" thing at Blizzard and say, fix this, but this is largely a community problem. While healing in Dragonflight has not been as fun, it is nowhere near as hard as some of the community make it out to be. And that statement itself has a double entendre. Number one, the community makes it out to be incredibly difficult by yelling it out. But they also make it incredibly difficult by playing terribly in dungeons. There's a lot of things, like I said earlier, that you can be doing as the tank to make your life so much easier with pug healers. And I need to stress this out because there are plenty of healers doing organized group content right now as we speak. I know plenty of healers that that have come by my chat, that have commented on my YouTube, or all these fun things that are like, yeah, man, I push plus 25s with my guildies all the time. Ask me to pug a plus 20 though, I'd rather blow my brains out against the wall. That is the current mentality. But why is that current mentality? Again, larger topic to a different discussion, and we will get to that one. So subscribe if you want to see that video. But we're going to be breaking down the tank portion of this specifically. So number one thing that you can do to help your healer out and have a good time is work on your routes, work on your routing, and understand one thing in particular. The route that you have that works for organized group content when everyone's in comms and everyone knows their role might not be the best route for a pug group. You do not know the levels of skill within that group. You don't know how on board everyone is with what you're going to do. They might not know what you're going to be doing at all, and they start seeing you move, and immediately it's like, what is he doing? Wait, what is he doing? Where's he going? What's happening? That instills panic, and panic means hesitation, which means they're not pressing buttons. They don't know when to stun, they don't know when to kick. So if you're going to do something unpredictable, communicate. If you're going to do something that you think may be the norm, but might not be for every group, communicate it. It's simple. Just say, hey, I'm doing a triple here. I see that, cool. This all works. Everyone okay with that? Perfect. It doesn't require a paragraph of things to set up, but the slightest bit of communication. When I've been healing on my Preservation of Ogre or my Priest or whatever, when the tank says, hey, double coming up, I feel infinitely better about going into the poll than if he just did it without telling me. Now, you don't need to say this about everyone, because some of the double polls are, kind of expected this late in the season, right? Like, there's, if you look at Brackenhide Hollow, they, you tend to group up a lot of pulls there. That's no shocker to anyone that a double or a triple may be coming up. But what could be a shocker is a quadruple, a five pat pull, and things like that, where you're like, I would have loved some warning about this one. I would have prepared a lot better. I would have been mentally ready for it. I was not mentally ready for any of this. So routing and communication are both incredibly important, and it doesn't need to be long-winded sentences or whatever, but setting some sort of expectation instead of expecting the expectation is really kind of not fun. And the moment you get a healer to panic, they stop having fun, right? The moment I'm panicking as a healer, that fun for me is kind of done. Like, I'm in sheer, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit mode. And that's something that we don't necessarily want to have. Number 2 or 3, I guess, depending, because routing and communicate has been kind of in lumped in one. But track mana, or at least look at mana and track healer cooldowns, because sometimes you're expecting a like your next pull as whatever tank might be a triple pull, okay? But the healer's never done that before, and they might not have cooldowns, and they might need cooldowns for that one. So what you can do is just be like, hey, yo, triple pull? Question mark. I don't care what the DPS say. The DPS are always going to say yes to more mobs being in a pack. They're not the important ones in this scenario making this decision. The healer is. And I will look to make sure before I even ask, do they have at least one healer cooldown? Or is it coming up shortly? Right? Because they might be 10 seconds away, which by the time you finish the pull is when they actually really need it. And what is their mana like? Because, you know, if they're sub 20% mana and you're like triple pull and you just run in anyway, like... people are going to die. That pull is not going to go well, right? That might be a point where they're like, yep, let me drink, not a problem. And that point, they'll get some cooldowns back and things like that. But, like, the knowledge that you have as a tank going forward with your healer is incredibly important. And if they don't have any cooldowns, then they have, like, sub 10% mana and you pull 25 mobs, you're gonna have a bad time, right? There's a few healers out there that are gonna pull it out of their ass and get the job done, but you can't, the expectation cannot be that every healer can do that, right? It's absolutely wild. On top of that, in Dragonflight, one-shot mechanics are incredibly prevalent and all over the place all of the time. And the moment you start losing DPS and committing battle reses and all of that starts taking time and that pull extends longer, the worse it's going to be. So just track mana, say, hey, look, this is a good drink spot. Cool, drink up while you can. This is perfect, guys. Like, you know, eat your mage food, eat food, whatever. Get your health back up, help you out your healers, you know, things like that. Play defensive or help out with group utility talents is the next point. On my bear, when I am pugging, I run Dream of Cenarius with Protector of the Pack. Like, every time. Why? Because it allows me to throw healing out on DPS that need it the most, on healers that may need it. Because sometimes healers start focusing on bars other than their own. I know this, I've done this myself, and forget to even look at their own bars while they're funneling in on the other party frames. So I can throw out a big fat heal on the healer while they're focusing on the DPS. Things like that really do help in a dungeon run. And there are countless times this season alone where if I had Dream of Cenarius on any of my tanks, I could have saved this pull. That one button could have saved this pull. If I had Word of Glory or Lay on Hands for this, or Bop or Sack or whatever, I would have saved this pull. This also means having, you know, the correct dispels for a dungeon. If you can take it, take it. If it's a poison or a curse, there's not a whole lot of curses in Season 2, but there are quite a bit of poisons, which are pretty nasty. The amount of times that I've died to a poison in Brackenhide Hollow from people pulling the stealthies, while there are 3 poison dispels in the group, and I'm not one of them as a priest, and I just die because nobody is dispelling me, and I'm just spam healing myself, and that poison is nasty on like a 19-20 fortified week. Especially if you're slightly undergeared priest. Real nasty, and it's like, well, man, healer, what's going on? Man, like 3 of you could have dispelled me. Like, literally 3 of you. You could have helped. Like, use your utility. It's incredibly important that you take your utility for the correct dungeons and you use it. Using Bop to clear bleeds as a paladin is huge. Dragons, you have bleed removal every like 54 seconds to a minute, depending on talent selection. That's crazy. Like, use it. Play defensive and help out where you can. Now, this does not mean literally heal the party for the healer. No, throw them out when you can, right? Help when you can. Don't give up active mitigation for... don't let your Shield of the Righteous drop on a big heavy pull to use a WOG unless somebody is deeply, truly in trouble. Take care of yourself first as a tank to make sure you stay alive, because everyone else is going to die pretty quickly if you die. and then help out, but there are a lot of means of doing that. For example, I have literally used rally on my warrior to save one single person. I have seen someone drop to 5% health and everyone else is pretty safe. I have a rally to help save that person because one little dot tick of anything will kill them. And just being able to give the healer enough time to finish a flash heal or a holy light or whatever they're casting to be able to get that person back up is pretty big. And these are things that you can do to really help out. And as a tank, the next thing, man, be on top of every kick and stop you can. Use your stuns effectively. You kick everything you can. Make sure it is on cooldown or you have your kick ready and available for the next priority thing. Just straight up. Have it ready. There's nothing worse than seeing a healer compete. Okay, I wrote down here because this is true. This has happened to me. There's nothing worse than seeing a healer compete for the #1 kick spot with a protection paladin. And yes, that has happened. It has happened to me on my stream. We got halfway through a dungeon. The protection paladin had 11 total kicks, and this was Halls of Infusion, by the way, for a little bit of context. And I had 10. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Especially Halls of Infusion, where I can literally end a dungeon at around 80 to 90 kicks. As a protection paladin, being halfway through only having 11, like you're actively trying to not kick stuff with your Avenger's Shield. You're actively not hitting your buttons. But we want more healers to stay. We want more healers to pug. And we, more than ever have I joined up with a healer in a pug group and then asked to stay for a couple of more dungeons. Say, hey man, this was really fun. Do you mind if I stay on the next one? Do you want to complete this one? Instead of them just leaving. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't even have the chance to say GG thank you to a healer before they leave, that was not fun for them. They had a bad key. They had and it might have been on them, but they just did not have fun and they were not there for it. But that's what I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe. My patrons, this is going to be an early access video for them. Have yourselves a good one. Happy tanking. Bye.